Hello, educators. This video will walk you through the steps of creating a roster in order to have your students access math on Freckle in Spanish. So let me start by sharing my screen. At this point, you should know how to, or have already had a chance to, set up an account for yourself in Freckle. The reason we are making this video is because most of Freckle is available, all of Freckle is available in English. So you have access to the ELA tasks, you have access to the word study and the math all in English. Now, one feature of Freckle is that students can access the math in Spanish, the instructions, the questions, the activities, that's available in Spanish as well. The problem is, if a student only has one login and you only have one roster for your students, you as a teacher would have to go into each student setting every time you want them to switch language and toggle between English and Spanish multiple times a week. To prevent that, you can do what's called a double roster, which means you have a roster or a class for all of Freckle that's available in English. And then you have another roster with the same kids, just a separate class, separate roster, so students can access the math in Spanish. That means the students will have two logins, but it's more efficient for the teacher. You don't have to go in and go between Spanish and English every single time. All right. So when you log in as a teacher, your dashboard should look like this. You'll want to go over to roster and then select add new class. As you can see, I already have a couple of classes here. So I'm going to add another class. And again, this is so my students can access Freckle Math in Spanish. There are different ways you can create your roster. We're going to do it manually. And then even when you do it manually, there are different ways you can do that. You can cut it and paste it from a spreadsheet, or you can input each student one by one by typing their name in. Let's start by naming our class. Selecting a grade level. And if you have a spreadsheet, which you probably have, with your student's name, first and last name, you want to follow these instructions. Very easy. Copy and paste the list here, and then your roster will be created for you. I don't have that because I don't have a class. So we're going to just add in Jennifer, the student, manually. Here. Sorry for the phone in the background. Here, you want to go ahead and click Spanish support and then finish grading class. Of course, you can also add more students here. And you can add another class if you want. So if you have two classes that need a separate roster for Spanish math access, and you add another class. Let's get started so you can see what this looks like. So here's my math class in Spanish. I want to copy this code. And now I'm going to pause so I can log in as a student, and you can see what the student experiences when we access the math in Spanish. All right, we are about to enter into Freckle so we can see from the student side, so we can see what they will see. Okay, that's the class code specifically for math in Spanish. Move this up a little bit. Okay. And then the student has to type their name exactly how you put it in the roster. So that's important to know. All right, and as you can see already here, some of my instructions are in Spanish. I'm just going through this really quickly. So even though this has English, once you go into it, things will start to show up in, I'm sorry, let me say that again. Even though this is in Spanish, English is in Spanish right here. Once you go into this program, the activities will show in English and there'll be Spanish support. But let's focus on the math. Besides here, these instructions are in Spanish. Besides the strands of math, everything will be in Spanish.
¿Cuántas veces más pequeño es un grupo de 4 monedas comparado con un grupo de 16 monedas?
Okay, and the student can put their response there. There are different functions, on-screen functions the students can use to support their math thinking. You can do a 10 frame. There's different things you can do. Oops, there it is. I've messed it up, but just so you can get the idea. All right, well, you all get the idea. There are different, there we go, tools you can use here for students to help, to support the thinking of students when it comes to mathematical reasoning. All right, you all get the point. But the main thing is I wanted to show you all how to even set up your roster so students can access the math in Spanish, okay? Once again, even though you see the ELA side, it's written in Spanish. Once the students go into that program, they're gonna start to see the content in English. But play around with it. If you have any questions about double rostering or any questions about what students can do using Freckle Math in Spanish, please send me an email and I'll be happy to support.